Hello, everyone, and welcome freaking back to my YouTube channel. I can say welcome back because this is officially my second video. So, yay! Everyone clap. Okay. So today we are gonna do a Q&A because the streets have been asking, people are wondering, and I am here to answer any and all of your questions. Okay. So, without further ado, let's get into this freaking video. And before I get into it, actually, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me anything. Tell me your life story. Just do it. Subscribe. I really actually loved this question. I'll give y'all some insight. So this user asks me, are you extroverted, and any tips on making friends while out? I think a lot of people would say this, like they're extroverted and introverted. Like I can be really extroverted, but I do need a lot of time by myself to recharge. Like I need so much alone time. I spend most of my time by myself. So that way when I'm out and like with my friends and like trying to make friends, I can be extroverted. I'd say my number one tip that I found, as someone, I hardly have any friends left from high school. Like all of the friends that I have now are friends that I've made completely organically just by being my gosh darn self. Showing up authentically in this world is the best way to make friends. You do have to kind of get yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. One of my best friends, Ruthie, she does my nails. Shout out to Ruthie, No Angel Nails on Instagram. I met her through TikTok. And the way that I like reached out to her was like her shit came up on my For You page. And I DM'd her and asked her to collab with me on a photo shoot because I saw that she was in Houston. And from there, I think we traded services. So I did her makeup and she did nails for a photo shoot that I was doing. And literally, I did her makeup before she did the nails for it. And the day that I did her makeup, we just like clicked immediately. And that day I did her makeup. Then we went to go get boba. And then we went thrifting. And we had a whole little day. And it was literally so fun. And I had just met her that day. And we just had our own little day. And we like took pictures and stuff. Like it was so freaking cute. So I'd say show up authentically. I also make a lot of friends at the gym just by like doing my shit at the gym. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you know, like I love posting like gym content, like gym videos of like yoga and stuff. And if you like are doing yoga at the gym, people are going to come up to you and like ask you about it. And it just starts like conversations. So that's just where I've gotten from just showing up as myself and not being embarrassed, not being afraid to reach out to people, and not being afraid to talk to other people and like have a good positive conversation. If you shut yourself out, like if someone comes up to me at the gym, I'm not just gonna like shut them down and be like, like I'm gonna, be intrigued, like, because obviously if they're asking me, we have a common interest, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say that's my advice for making friends out in the wild is just show up as yourself. Next question. What did your dad say about you being a stripper? Now, listen, my dad and I don't really talk about that aspect of my life. He follows me on everything. He follows me on all my platforms. So like my dad knows what I get into, but at the end of the day, he just wants me to be happy and healthy and safe. And he trusts me and he trusts what I'm doing and he trusts that I know what I'm doing. And I think we have a really good dynamic where like we just talk about like my artistic stuff and like my social media stuff, and that's kind of like what we talk about when we talk about like my career and what I do for work, because also I don't feel like that part of my life defines me, and I don't feel like we need to talk about it, so we don't. But no, he's very supportive of me. He always tells me how proud he is of me and how hopeful he is for my future. So it's a really good, like, positive relationship. And quite frankly, I don't want to talk to him about that stuff either. Like, there's just some stuff that he does not need to know. Not that he doesn't need to know, but that we don't need to talk about, because I'm an adult and I pay my own bills. So he can't really say too much. Next question. How did I move out of my parents' house? This was literally so hard for me. So I moved out for the first time when I was 18 or 19. And it was like a really tiny apartment and the rent was really cheap. I was so far from like doing what I wanted to do in this life that I got really, I feel like, bogged down in the job that I was at. I was like a manager at an ice cream shop. I just felt lost and I didn't have the resources or the time to like go to school or like pursue anything else. So, and I was doing TikTok at the time, but it wasn't like really paying me. I moved back. I moved back home. I moved back in with my mom. And then after like a couple years, I moved back in with my dad. And then from there, that's when I like moved out. So when I was living with my dad, I went to esthetician school, got my esthetician license, and literally right after I graduated, I moved out because while I was in esthetician school, I started making money off of TikTok, that like enough money for me to like be able to move out and like do other shit. So that's how I moved out, is basically I just kept hustling on TikTok and making videos. And I never really had to use my esthetician's license, even though like part of me still wants to use it in some way, but that's for the future. I think like it just gives me another level of like certification for like my makeup stuff. So advice for moving out of your parents' house though, don't. If you have a good, positive, beautiful relationship with your parents while you live with them, like, listen, I love my dad, but I like him and I could not live together. Like, that's just like, I'm just gonna say it how it is. Like, we cannot live together, and we both know that. We are both very independent adults with our own like minds and brains, and we work so much better not living together. So in this economy, if you are in your early 20s, I strongly recommend you stay home and save your freaking money. Act like you're paying rent. Put that money in a savings account and wait to move out until you feel confident and ready. However, if you are in a position where home is not a healthy place for you to be and you need to move out, I say just do it and hustle, because there is nothing worse than living in an environment where you feel like you cannot grow and thrive. If you can grow and thrive with your parents, do it. If you can't, leave. Find a way. Next question. What is the most fulfilling part of your life at this moment? I love this question so freaking much because like, what a beautiful question to ask someone. I'd say the most fulfilling part of my life is probably the friends that I've cultivated. Like I mentioned, I don't have any friends from high school really left except for like one. I feel like I, just through being myself, have created such a beautiful community around me of like individuals who love and support me and cherish me, and I cherish them. And it's just like, I just feel like I'm constantly under this little like hug circle group of friends. Like, I just love my friends. I love seeing my friends. I love seeing my friends grow and thrive and collaborating with my friends. My friend Nick, right now, he behind the camera. I just have so many beautiful, amazing friends, and it makes life worth living. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You know how some people live for the weekend? I live to see my friends. I just feel like I have just beautiful beings surrounded me. Like, I found my soul tribe. You know what I mean? I don't care if that sounds woo-woo. It's true. Next question. Has there ever been a guy in the club that has been obsessed with you, and how do you deal with that? I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it runs in my family on my mom's side, but her and I just have a way of finding men to be really creepy and obsess over us. And I don't really know what the science is with that. Like, some people just attract weird, creepy people. And I guess I'm one of those. How did I deal with that? Girl, I'm still dealing with it. Okay. I'd say the best thing is to like ignore them or block them if they're really creeping you out. Especially men who are regulars at clubs. No offense, but they're gonna be weird. Like, that's just what it is. So tread carefully. Set your boundaries. Be really firm with your boundaries, because yes, men can be really creepy and weird and will not respect your boundaries. But I've found actually that even if they do give me weird, creepy vibes, if I set a strict boundary, generally they respect that. And if they don't, you need to let someone know. If you need to tell the police, go tell the police. Be safe and prioritize yourself. Don't be afraid to make people uncomfortable. Like, if someone's freaking you out, be like, you're fucking weird. You're creeping me out. Get away from me. And that's what you got to say. Tell your managers, tell someone, let people know that there's someone that's weird and creepy and that you're worried about their obsession with you, so that people know. Okay. Yeah. So be careful. I guess this is kind of a related question. Are you getting pay pigs? Where are y'all finding these pay pigs? Okay. I think like the pay pig thing, I think that's a myth. Like, there is no way a man is just sending you money just because. And if they are, let me know. Let me know and send them my information so they can send me money for no reason. 9 times out of 10, those pay pigs want something out of you. And also, I don't like someone having like something above me, like something to hold over my head. Like, oh, I sent you that money. Like, now time to do this. Like, no. I'd rather make my own money, honestly. Unrelated. If y'all have pay pigs, send them my way. Anyways, this question actually really made me sad, because that means that someone is dealing with this. So how do I deal with depression? Y'all, depression is very real. I have been at some very low points in my life. The only way to deal with it is to go through it and to feel it and to allow yourself to feel it. Give yourself the space to feel everything that you feel. Cry, scream, yell. Don't take it out on other people. Don't make it other people's problems. But do talk to your friends about it. Talk to a support system. Talk to a therapist. Get a freaking therapist. I say that as someone who does not have a therapist anymore, but I did at one point. Okay. Talk to people. Don't let your depression isolate you. If you isolate yourself in a period of depression, you are just going to get more depressed. Like, of course, it's okay to take time and just be alone and all of that good stuff. But if you find yourself constantly wanting to be alone, needing to be alone, I'd say push yourself out of your comfort zone and really talk to people and think, why do I want to be alone right now? Think about that. Try and remember that depression is temporary and there is a bright side, a light at the end of the tunnel. It is very temporary. The more you allow yourself to feel and the more patient you are with yourself, the easier it will be to get through said depression. If there's a reason you're depressed, what is that reason? Some people have just like clinical depression, just generic depression. Nothing specific is depressing them. It's like a chemical in their brain that is just causing them to be depressed. If that is the case, go to a psychiatrist, get that figured out. But if there is a reason that you are depressed, if you are depressed over something, you need to address that reason and attack it from the source. Be responsible. But yeah, that's how I deal with my depression. What keeps you motivated to create content? Honestly, the community I'm building keeps me motivated. Like, y'all keep me very on my toes. I feel really good when I connect with y'all, and I feel like I'm building my own little corner of the internet, and I love it. And it just makes me feel like I have more friends, and I love my friends. So naturally, I love you guys. I love y'all. So I love like being able to connect with y'all. And that is really what keeps me motivated. Like, the beauty in social media does not come through like just the likes and the money. It's like the comments and the DMs, and like I just went live right now and I loved talking to y'all so freaking much. The fact that I get to connect with so many people and like relate to so many people is what really keeps me like motivated to keep doing what I do. So yeah. My next question, what was your dream job as a kid? I touched on this in my last YouTube video. If you watched it, you would know that low-key my dream job was to be a stripper, but obviously that was not like a consistent thing. Like, you know, when you're a little kid, you want to be like a vet and like, okay, my dream job, I'm not even joking, aside from being a dancer, I literally just wanted to be a princess. Like, I thought in my head, and I still think in my head, that I can marry into royalty and just be a princess, and that's just gonna be my life. I need to find a way to be a real life princess as a job. If anyone has any leads on any of that, let me know. I'm open. But yeah, I wanted to be a princess, and then just like an artist in general. That's like so different, but like I've never wanted to really work a job. I don't know. I never really wanted to like have a 9-to-5. I guess if I were to say that I wanted a 9-to-5, it would be like a graphic designer. I used to tell people that that's what I wanted to be, but in my head, I didn't want to be that. Like, that's just what I thought made sense. Cause like I went to art school and like knew a bunch about graphics, and my dad is a graphic designer. So in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to be a graphic designer, like, period. But no, that is not what I wanted to be. But like, it seemed like an easy plan for me. Also, I used to really want to be a YouTuber so bad. I remember being in my little office room at my childhood home and like getting on our computer and like getting on iMovie and making little like, I remember I made this one video of like this book review thing, or like I was just talking about books, but I don't even think I said anything because like before I could finish the video, my mom was like, "You're not gonna post that on YouTube. You are a child." Which, valid, but also like, girl, she should have just let me start, because now I feel like I'm so far behind. Like, imagine if I would have had, how old am I now? I would have had over 10 years of YouTube experience if I would have posted that video. So whatever. Next question, is dancing something you would recommend doing full time? No. Absolutely not. I would not recommend it. There are girls who do it and who thrive, and I love them and they're beautiful, but I quite frankly think I would die if I did dancing full time. I'm telling you right now, that shit is so draining, physically, mentally, all of that. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's quite literally if you were going to the club every single night, like just for fun. Like, imagine that. Imagine going out to the club every single night, or at least 5 nights a week. Imagine doing that. Do you know how draining that would be? Going to the club every single night? I personally do not recommend it. Also, because sometimes the money's just not there. Sometimes you have a bad night, and that freaking sucks. If that is your only source of income, when you have a bad night, it is 10 times more draining than if you know that you have some other money coming in from somewhere. Like, no, I could not do dancing full time. Ooh, I like this question. Okay. What made you get into the expressive and bold makeup you do today? So basically, like, how I got into makeup. So I'm going to tell y'all, I'll keep it short, keep it sweet. I went to an art school. I remember my last year, I really started to get into photography because I'm kind of lazy. I'm a little bit of a lazy person, and photography, no offense, but it's kind of lazy. Like, okay, it's not lazy. Obviously it's not lazy. But for me, I was able to make it lazy because coming from someone who, like, I was painting and drawing, and I like hyper realistic stuff. Like, I love drawing in great detail. That shit takes forever. So think about it. If you have X amount of art classes, X amount of projects due in a week, the time it takes to do like paintings versus taking a picture and editing it is crazy. The difference. It would take me weeks to do a painting and hours to do a photography project. So I started doing photography, and I did that by doing like makeup photography. So I would like go home and do my makeup and take pictures and print them out, and that was my project. But obviously, like, my makeup can't be regular for my photography projects, like if I'm gonna claim it as like a project. So I would do crazy shit and like do a whole bunch of like conceptual stuff for my classes. So that's how I started doing makeup there. And then from that, I would like start taking my friends home with me and doing their makeup and taking their picture. And then I graduated high school in 2020, and that's when COVID hit. And I remember my first TikTok video was of me doing my makeup for like my online classes. And then I think my first video to go viral was me getting ready for prom, like fake prom, but I didn't go to prom obviously because it was COVID. So yeah, and I did this like crazy like crystal red eye look. It was crazy. I think it got like 800,000 views, and I literally felt so freaking famous. But yeah, from there I just started doing like a bunch of creative stuff. So yeah, that's been fun. Okay, last question, and I'll leave it at this. How is your life different from now than 10 years ago? So I'm only 23. So 10 years ago, I would have been 13 years old. And let me tell you, my life is so much freaking better than when I was 13. Let me freaking tell you guys. When I was 13, I was literally so traumatized and miserable, and my life sucked, but like I felt like my life freaking sucked. So if you're watching this and you are in middle school or high school, if you are a young adult coming into your adulthood, it gets freaking better. If you take anything from this video, show up as yourself as authentically as you can all the time. It doesn't matter what that looks like, who judges you. Show up as yourself, period. That is how you will attract the things that make you happy in your life. Like, that is just what it is. You will have to get through so many haters. You will have to maneuver your way through that journey, but it is worth it in the end. My life now as an adult, I feel so free. I can drive. I love driving. I love having a car. I love living by my freaking self. I don't have to listen to anyone. I don't have to report to anyone. I just feel so free, and like I can do whatever I want in this world. And there's some days where I don't feel like that, but most days I do feel like that. So if you're young and feel like you do not have any control of your life, just remember you do, and you will once you're an adult. So period. Also, you do have control over your life, even if you're not an adult, just probably not as much as you'd like, but I digress. Anyways, thank you guys for watching yet another Flutterflies YouTube video. I love talking to you guys, and I love talking into a microphone. It is so satisfying. Like, I feel like Tana Mojo right now for my little podcast. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope y'all watch my next video. And if you don't, why? But yeah, love y'all. I'll see y'all. Mwah. Subscribe.